Welcome into the In the Money podcast for KeenelandSelect.com. I'm Tom Leach, joined by Jonathan Fowler this week, pinch hitting for Jim Goodman. And we're going to take a look at stakes races in California and Florida. And, Jonathan, we'll start with the Grade 1 Los Alamitos Futurity. Had the winner last week of the Philly version of this at about a $14 and change payoff. So hopefully we can come up with another one. I think Jim had the pick 4 the week before, so the pressure's on you as well as me this week to
I'm
keep
ready
it
for it. Let's get some holiday money.
There you go, a little extra something. The Los Alamitos Futurity is for 2-year-olds at a mile and a 16th, and you got a couple of Bafferts in here that are always dangerous. I think Hollendorfer has one. Where did you land?
You know, the Bafferts are undoubtedly the strongest in here. More Spirit is probably one of the top choices out of those two, just because I like how he's already been around 2 turns with a good second in the Kentucky Jockey Club. I wouldn't say a great second. I would have liked to have seen him finish it a little bit stronger in there, but maybe the sloppy track he didn't like so much. He should be running back on a firm track at Los Al, so I think he gets back to his form. Gary Stevens is back aboard, so those are all pluses in my book. But 8-5 and 9-5 for Baffert, that doesn't provide a lot of value. So I look to the number 3, Hollywood Dawn. Victor Espinoza is aboard. He rides him for the first time. He has mostly been on the turf, but 2 starts back, he was 3rd in the front runner behind Nyquist and Swipe, the 1-2 finishers of the Breeders' Cup Juvenile. If this horse, he already experienced going around 2 turns, so I'm going to use him with the 5 on top in hopes that maybe he can, in his second start around 2 turns, he'll come up. So I'm going to do 3-5 on top with those 2, 4 and 6 on the bottom of that.
I'm going to go to a bit of a stretch here and take Sorry About Nothing, the 6th. And the main reason why is this horse was bought for $220,000 out of a 2-year-old sale earlier this year by Repent, who stands for $1,000. So they obviously saw something they really loved in this horse to pay that kind of price. So there's some talent they think there. Horse still hadn't finished first, got moved up on a DQ last time, but it's Doug O'Neill, and he's doing well at the meet and has had obviously a spectacular year with 2-year-olds. You mentioned the Breeders' Cup Juvenile. That was Nyquist is his. He won the Futurity race at Keeneland, or the Alcibiades at Keeneland with one of his fillies. So for all of those reasons, and not a whole lot of form to go on, I'm going to take a shot on Sorry About Nothing. I like Bejarano taking the ride as well. So the 6, Sorry About Nothing, for a little bit of a price. And then I'll key him in exactas with both of the Bafferts, Toes on Ice, and More Spirit, 4 and 5, and also the 7. I'm already there for Hollendorfer. Go to Gulfstream, where their 4th race is the Grade 3 Mr. Prospector. 3 stakes races on the card, but this is the only one that's graded. And it's for 3-year-olds and up going 6 furlongs. I took XY Jet, the 5. I liked the 98 buyer last time. The runner-up came back to win, and the trainer wins at a 26% rate coming off second start off a layoff. So those are all things I like, and the fact that win was in allowance company, you'll probably get a little bit of a price on this one. Stall-walking dude, certainly the one to beat, the 3. And CZ, the 1, doesn't show much on recent form, but on back class, on his best day, would be good enough. And then the 4, Grand Shores, is the other one I would look at. But the 5, XY Jet, is going to be the pick in here, and then I'll probably just box those 4 in an exacta for the race. How about you?
Pretty much on the same page. XY Jet looked really impressive last time out, shooting to the lead, carving out some pretty quick fractions, and just kind of in a hand ride coming down the stretch. He does face Stall Walking Dude, who's held some great competition. Is making his 18th start of the year, so the trainer says he's still knocking down the door, trying to get out and race, and so that shows all good signs. But 18 races in a year, that's still a lot for horses of this time frame. So I'm putting XY Jet on top with Stall Walking Dude. CZ on the inside. He's shown some class. I like that he's coming back to sprints. He went on the turf a little bit longer, gets back to these sprints where he's shown some better numbers before, so I'm using him in there as well. And on the outside, Weekend Hideaway, this horse came back and won at 5 furlongs. I don't see him winning, but I would use him underneath an exotics on those plays.
Let's take a look at the early pick 4, which includes the Mr. Prospector. It starts in the second race. I took 4 horses in the first leg. Didn't really have a strong opinion. I used the 5, 8, 9, 11. Second leg, 7, 5, and 1 in there. I took XY Jet and Stall Walking Dude both in the third leg. And then in the fourth leg, you got, I think, Mott dropping down in class in a turf race, so I definitely wanted that one, the 7. So the 7 and the 6. So 4 by 3 by 2 by 2 in the early pick 4 for me. How about you?
The second race, you might have to click the all button because I used 4 horses, and I think we used all the different horses. So I used
that sounds about right.
2, 7, 8. And then the 14, if it happens to get in, I think will be a pretty good shot, but that's a main track only, so that may not happen at all. Then I go 5, 7 in the third race. The 14, if it gets in, which I really hope it does, I think that's a good possibility. I go 3, 5 in the Mr. Prospector, and in the very last one, I use 4 horses again, the 1, 6, 7, 8. There's a couple first-time starters that look interesting, such as the number 3. It's kind of a risk with a first-time with first dude and any time of first starter, but the interesting one is actually the number 6, Cash Money, who actually flopped in his first race. But all the time you see these maidens, they come out in their first race, flop, and then come back to win their second race. So I'll take a risk with that one. So 1, 6, 7, 8 in the last race.
Yeah, you mentioned the 6 there. It looked like they bet that one a little bit first time out, so that's why I threw that one in as well. That I was kind of I'm willing to forgive about anything in one race.
Exactly. In maiden claimings, when they're all dropping down into the maiden claiming for the first time, you got to take a little bit of a risk sometime with those.
Well, best of luck to everybody on your wagers. Stuffing a little extra cash into your stocking for the holidays, and then Santa Anita gears up the day after Christmas next week, right?
It's going to be a huge day, the day after after Christmas. So it's going to be a nice day at Santa Anita.
Well, best of luck to everybody. Merry Christmas from all of us at Keeneland Select, and this is the In the Money Podcast.